Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen Buerta, for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
It's sad. I'm sure, Tanya, you've done so much work with the program here in Miami-Dade, and you've constantly navigated transitions. How are you? Are you making room for joy?
Oh, every day. Yes, yes, yes. So my verb is, I would say I inspire. I aspire to inspire. And even on my LinkedIn post, it's always like, chasing glitter, inspirational leadership. Those are my hub, very close to me, where I stay very close in sparking joy and, really trying to hone in on everyone's talents, right? Everyone has them, everyone has gifts, and really trying to utilize the gifts to fuel what they want to do. So I think when we go back to, and I think, it's funny as we evolve in age and maturity, any type of workshop, professional workshop, women's workshop, they always default to play, right? That's the key thing, to default to play. And I think we need to spend more time in play and really manifesting that magic.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm tired. Like I say, like I can be independent. I've traveled the world alone, but to be honest, I'm tired. I just want to have fun. I want to be taken care of. I want, and in my personal life, but in professional life, I want it to be too. Like I want these opportunities to just come to me. I don't want to go out and ask and then cold email and ask.
Right.
That's a lot, a lot of energy.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, ladies. Should we go into the nonprofit? Let's chat about our nonprofit that we're going to support for the month. So, as you know, Friends from Wild Places listeners, we absolutely love to support a nonprofit for the entire month of this series, which is a series of 3 episodes. So this month we're going to be doing goabroad.org. That's goabroad.org. The Go Abroad Foundation was created to support grassroots organizations. This is a organization that Estrella has brought to our attention. So please, Estrella, share with us a little bit about what this nonprofit does and how we can help this nonprofit.
Yeah, of course. So the Go Abroad Foundation is actually my co-founder is the owner of goabroad.com, but he also created a foundation called the Go Abroad Foundation, which I used to do some work for about a few years ago. But I want to side note on who my co-founder is. He looks like Santa Claus. He's like this 59-year-old man. But the first time I ever had lunch with him, he was my CEO and I was an intern, and he took me out to lunch. That's where I told him about my dad, and I told him my dream was to go back to Nicaragua and get my dad a gravestone made, because when he died, there was no name. You wouldn't know it was him. You didn't know this was where he was buried. And I told him that was my dream. And then a few weeks later, he surprised me that he raised money so that I could go to Nicaragua and get this made for my dad. After just meeting me only one time. That's who my co-founder is.
Wow.
And Troy is just one of those men who like I said, he does things when he doesn't have to do things. The amount of people he's impacted around the world, he's truly one of the most incredible businessmen, but also like philanthropists in general. So he created the Go Abroad Foundation. And so when I was kicking things off with Lost Farewells, we were using our Filipino developers. So I went to go live in the Philippines for the first summer. And there I was able to also go in to see the work that the Go Abroad Foundation is doing with just the kids there, the rice programs. But beyond the Philippines, they create special programs across Africa for water, for educating women. So that a lot of their programs, I can't even put it into like it's one specific thing they're doing, but they create programs in places of need in Zambia, in a lot of places in Africa, and especially in the Philippines, where I saw it firsthand on how they were helping with the families, and I was with the kids and we were doing dances. And so, yeah, the Go Abroad Foundation, I just think they like to fill the gaps where they see them, and they do things to do things, not because they have to, because they want to make an impact. So it's always been a special place in my heart, because it's tied to my own co-founder, who completely changed my life, with the opportunities he's given me to go back to my dad, but even to trust me with Last Farewells, which is he had this idea back in the 80s, well, back when he's like, let's hold on to people's letters and keep it in a vault. This is something he's been wanting to see now for 40 years, and he's entrusted me with it, with his legacy project. So yeah, I would say the Go Broad Foundation is not just special because of the projects that they do, but because of the people who run it, and they run it with so much heart, and yeah, that's all I have to say about it.
Amazing, amazing.
How can we support them? Is there ways, can we donate, or is there other ways we can help?
Yeah, there's ways to donate and on the button on goabroad.org/projects. But honestly, I think even just following them on the Instagram account, I think it just helps so people can just be more aware of the projects that are being done. That way they could potentially even be considered to, make donations. Like if you know someone to make donations in the future. So they're GA_foundation on Instagram. And yeah, they just, like I said, they partner with a lot of small grassroots organizations around the world, in the Philippines, Zambia, Uganda, and I believe they're a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. So yeah.
Mhm. Well, thank you very much, Estrella. We have come to almost the end of the podcast. We're going to do something a little bit more lighthearted just to end it off. But thank you, ladies. You are both been such a wonderful light today. And I appreciate both of you and Estrella for being our guest. But let's just, as I said, something lighthearted. Let's share what is one of the best advice that we've ever gotten. What is one of the best pieces of advice that we've ever gotten? Tanya, you want to start?
So I think the one that resonates the most is whatever struggle we are facing. I've heard the phrase saying, will this matter to you in 5 years? Right? Like as much as we're feeling emotion about that topic, maybe in the moment or today, or, ruminating on it, like it's stressing us out. And if you just really ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? It was very powerful. So I think that for me is the most telltale.
Yeah. Wow.
How about you, Estrella?
Mine is I had a somatic coach therapist. She changed my life, but my biggest takeaway from her was practicing that we should practice non-attachment, which is hard for someone who feels attached to everything, experiences, people, memories, photos on my phone. But creating a state of mind where we don't cling on to anything. And I think that can be said in relationships and in jobs and in outcomes or desires, because when we stop clinging on, we're able to kind of enjoy that process more. And that has been so true in entrepreneurship. I don't cling to the idea that Last Farewells can be a $1 billion unicorn, or that it could make me a millionaire, or they could put me somewhere, right? I don't cling on to that. But it causes me more now to be more in the process of creating, and how in my day to day I can elicit more joy through this non-attachment practice, but also like in my personal relationships as well. I think that's definitely been something that is really hard to do. But it's a really good practice when you can start practicing it. And like I said, you just don't expect anything, which is like, we should have standards though, boundaries. It's not the point, but like still, like it's just, yeah, I think more beautiful things can come out when we have the least expectations.
What's so funny is true. I love the phrase where they say, or I don't know, I heard it, or maybe, I don't know. I don't think I made it up, but it's like expectation is the root of all evil, right? Expectation is the root of all evil. And it's true because we can set ourselves up for such disappointment if we have an attachment to an outcome or an expectation of what is supposed to happen, or a disappointment. So when it's conditional, and I know there's a lot of different modalities out there, the one that you're describing that you worked with, with your person, was it a specific method or was it something collective that this person had created?
It was collective. Well, yes, it was somatic therapy in the sense of we just worked a lot on like the body's trauma and releasing and screaming. But non-attachment was just the theory that she wanted me to apply more and journal about, and see the areas where I was, very like, especially in relationships, I was very attached to one person, and that really affected me everywhere else.
Right.
But yeah, yeah. Um, last month I told you guys my sunrise birthday party, I literally said, if I'm gonna stress about this, it's canceled. There's a zero stress policy on my end and on my guest end. If people are gonna come with not good energy because it's 6 in the morning, then please don't come. I even said it's a zero stress policy. If this is not for you, do not force it. And I came with the expectation that I don't care if it's just me dancing by myself, I'm gonna have the most fun I've ever had. And from that, 70 people came, 65 people, but no expectations. I was ready for just one person, which is me. And I knew I was gonna have a good time. And
Yeah.
that mindset shift, and also like not trying to stress for other people and plan things for other people to have fun. I've always done that in birthdays, and I made it very clear this year that if it's stressful to plan this for other people, then it's not fun anymore. I can only create this if I'm having fun for myself, because then it defeats the purpose of trying to create a special moment, right? And then you're just worried about everybody else having fun. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It reminds me of like one of my favorite books is The Body Keeps the Score. I don't know if either of you heard of it. The Body Keeps the Score,
Yeah.
where it's like lock trauma, and it's just amazing. And then there's another method that I was recently introduced to, actually by Patricia Espinosa, which was the Sedona method. And the Sedona method is very, very powerful, where it's having that non-attachment. And I know like Abraham Hicks, other modalities do it, but I think that is the goal, is not to have attachment to outcome, to be able to live in the moment, create joy, and not be affected of somebody's mood or how they're going to respond, or what the disappointment may look like. So with no attachment, it's fabulous. And how about
Yeah.
you, Screen? What about you?
Over my entire life, I think there's been a couple of different really good pieces of advice, but I think let's do the one most recent that is currently sticking in my head and what I'm living by right now. It's you get to decide, right? Shireen, what the hell? What does that mean, right? You get to decide. So life is full of decisions, right? We all know it. Small decisions, big decisions, hard decisions. And I think when we are covered with all these decisions that we need to make wherever we turn, we get really, really, really overwhelmed, and we reach out to different folk, family members, great Aunt Tessie, friends, best friends, pastors, our mentors. We reach out and we ask for advice. What should I do? Where should I go? I have no clue what to decide in this decision. And I think that you get to decide is ultimately what you should be reverting back to after you've heard all your pieces of advice from all your mentors. You come back and you actually have to ask yourself, well, Shireen, you get to decide. This is your life. This is your blank canvas. You can splash it with whatever color comes out of the can of paint. And if you want to start painting with blue and change halfway into a shocking green and then later purple and pink, and it's your life. You get to decide. And if later you change your mind and realize, no, actually I want to do this, rather do that, then change it. You didn't waste your time. There's no such thing as you've made the wrong choice. There's no such thing as you've wasted 2 years on a journey that you started and you realize, no, I'm actually not for this anymore. That's not a waste of 2 years. You've learned, you've grown, you've formed decisions about yourself, you've made leaps and bounds, and now you move on to the next phase in life that will take you down a different road. So that's what that means to me, is you get to decide, right? Okay.
Very cool. I like that, Shireen.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I think, ladies, unfortunately, I'm so sorry to tell you, but we've come to the end of the podcast. So let's just take a few moments and share with the listeners where they can find you if they were inspired by your story or they have any questions, where they can actually reach out and get a hold of you. So we'll start with Estrella.
Yeah. Yeah. So lastfarewells.com if you want to try Last Farewells, but if you want to reach me personally, Estrella at lastfarewells.com. We're also on Instagram. I'm posting parts of the founder journey, parts of my personal life fun on Instagram, just to have a good mix up. But it's Estrella Q95, and then our Instagram for Last Farewells is Last Farewells app. So yeah, reach out, please. I would love to hear from y'all.
Yes. And Tanya, where can we find you?
Sure. Yeah, so I live on LinkedIn. It's my house. You can
I
find
found her.
LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. I love posting, sharing. Most people know me as the program coordinator for Miami-Dade College mortuary program. So if anybody's interested in a career change, learning more about the program, becoming a licensed funeral director embalmer in Florida, feel free to definitely reach out to me. So LinkedIn is my hub.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so Shireen. Well, Shireen, you can find me on Shireen Buerta on most social media handles, and especially in the business side of things, it's LinkedIn. Shireen's bookkeeping services is also there, but most importantly, Friends from Wild Places does have their own website. It's friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. Once again, it's only $5 a month subscription to hear all the extra bonus content, the juicy conversation that Tanya and I go into. So if you don't mind supporting us, we really enjoy what we're doing. And we're not making any money on this. So it would be great if you guys feel in your hearts that you would like to do that, then please go ahead and do that. If not, that's also okay, because here we are creating a safe space for entrepreneurs and business owners anyway. So leave a comment, subscribe, tell us what you think. And remember, thanks so much for listening. And we'll see you next time. And you got this. Stay wild. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Buerta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.